recording, yeah.
Oh, I feel like that's a nice lead in there. Little classic Kelly Reverb with Fine Ladies
Little
Only.
scratching.
You know, fine. Speaking of Fine Ladies Only, where
Wow.
I'm
So
hanging.
you're going to be nice since we're on air together.
There you go. Exactly. Hey.
So Kelly can't be mean to me.
Exactly. You are
I
actually.
can't have the torment that I had when I grew up with him as my younger brother, always torturing me.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be like this
Oh,
the whole
wait,
show.
what?
By the way, you are watching thispinkcloud.com. Obviously, and it's a
Welcome.
show all about sobriety, helping you to obtain and maintain sobriety. So if you know somebody out there that actually needs that, be sure and contact us. But sitting in the studio live is myself right here, DJ Kelly Reverb,
In the house.
and Kathy Reverb, aka Kathy Partridge Ward. She is actually
Good morning.
she is actually sitting in for the Professor Nolan.
Yes, I am not Nolan. Do not be deceived on camera.
Right.
I am afraid of clowns, not glitter.
There we go.
I love you, Nolan.
There we go. I think Nolan will be trying to zoom in later, but and then this show is our special bonus Christmas episode
Yeah.
because we wanted to do something for everybody that might have had too many after on Christmas Day or
Yeah, and a lot of folks, and I know you and Nolan have talked about this some, and we talk about this in the mental health world, and we talk about this every year, and that is, we're approaching New Year's, and a lot of people, their resolution is to stop drinking or stop drug use or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
So if you need help, Kelly Reverb and the Professor Nolan, they can help.
Yeah, just
out.
hit us up on the This Pink Cloud page on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm gonna get a TikTok going, and all formats. But we're easy to find. So if you need help or you have some constructive criticism, keep it to yourself.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I thought we would talk about, hopefully Gia from Sobriety One Day at a Time will join us here via Zoom soon. But I just thought I would talk about the fact that your brother was a world-class alcoholic, and you were kind of oblivious to it because I was so good at hiding it. So
You were, Cal.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the thing is we don't see each other all the time,
No.
and I just look like, oh, that's Kel. He's having a good time. But
Well, and even on the phone, we talked on the phone a lot.
right,
Sometimes I would know. It was interesting. I would know if he would call me at 2 a.m, which being on radio and now in the podcast world, JP and I broadcast early. And first of all, thanks for letting me be on the show, Kelly. I love this show. I'm
Right.
so proud of you, and I'm so glad to know Nolan. I think y'all are bringing a huge service.
Did you just give me the Hercules?
No. Well, I feel like y'all are bringing such a service to people. All of these sober resources out there that are fun and awesome and cool.
And
I had no idea that whole world existed.
I didn't until I got sober, Kath.
Yeah.
I knew.
Funny how that works.
Everybody knows about AA, but no one really knows
No.
that there's this whole
like
secret
skating,
society.
rock climbing,
Yeah.
and all these different. I mean, anything you can think of that you dig, there's a group doing it sober and doing it sober every
Skating,
single day.
Yeah. My friends at Skate Straight Dallas, love those guys.
I think I just think it's phenomenal. Who are the young ladies from the Phoenix?
They
that
were on the Phoenix, and
Yep.
I went to their event on the 19th, so it was
Blown
great.
away. Blown away by
5K
them.
donations, all that good stuff.
All good stuff. So there's so many resources, and I'm so proud of this Pink Cloud, and so proud y'all are on the JP Kathy Broadcasting Network, because there's a need for people to know about this information before they hit
Right.
a situation where they have to go to rehab or whatever the case may be. But yeah, getting back to, you would call me at 2 and I'd be like, dude, I'm asleep. I get up at 5 a.m., kind of thing.
I was on DJ time still.
Yeah, and you're still. So finally, I had to let it roll to voicemail, and I think it took me a while to realize, okay, if he calls me because we had a radio show that we did from 7 to 9 a.m., and if you would call me at like 9:05, I was like, at first I was like, oh, Kelly's up. Kelly's up bright and early for Kelly today.
Yay.
This is good for him. and that was what would go through my head. I'd be like, well, good for him. And then I started realizing, wait a second, I think he's up from the night before. And I kind of, because you would say the same thing over and over, and then, or I would respond, and you would ask me a question. I'm like, well, dude, I just told you this, and you're like, well, no, tell me about this. I'm like, wait a second, it's either Groundhog Day.
I was doing some. I was doing some passive listening.
A little bit.
Listening skills were not that sharp.
But here's the thing: you were very good at hiding it until it was to the point where you just couldn't hide it anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing is I hid it. I tried to hide it as best I could.
Yep.
I didn't do so well with Waverly, my wife.
Yeah.
She actually, could see it because she came
was
home.
there.
She came home to
She
it
was
every day.
there, yeah.
But whereas like the general public, I mean, a little vodka in the water bottle in the side panel of your car.
Which and when you said that, I'm like, and it scared me because there were times I go back and I remember one time when it really started clicking and I knew you were in trouble. You had mentioned going to a place to grab some food, and then I had talked to Mom, and at this point, me and Mom and Dad and
kind of knew, hey,
the
wheels might be coming off.
Well, and
here.
we started comparing notes, like, hey, have you heard from Kelly? Because then I remember sending you a text saying, whatever you do, please don't get in a car and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. And I'm like, no, I know you've been drinking all day. And so it started into the scary point.
You have to get to the liquor store somehow, Kath.
I mean, it's crazy. So
I guess I could have Ubered, but
and that's what I said. Take an Uber or do
right.
do one of the food delivery services or something. But I think you got it's almost like you had yourself fooled. Would that be safe to say?
I would say it was a bit of denial is what it was.
Okay.
I mean, I thought that doing certain things like passing out while DJing was, hey, that happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah, it's part of the trade.
And then, blacking out or waking up with anxiety attacks and then having to self-medicate by drinking a good portion of vodka and then chasing it with a benzodiazepine, aka Xanax.
That's a bad
which is not a good
right?
combination.
Yeah.
I do not recommend that. Your respiratory system can shut down.
God, really?
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but so, I mean, I was doing that and just not even realizing that I was doing that to myself.
Yeah.
And I was just in that classic denial stage. So,
which I think, and to anybody who's listening who's like, it's not me, but then in the back of your mind, you're like, or is it me? I think that's the denial. I hear you and Nolan talking about how that's a huge portion of it.
And I was to the point, like what Nolan always says is, hey, if you don't think you have a problem or you think you might have a problem, just quit.
Yeah. Yeah, he says that
and
all the time.
I could get away with about 48 hours, and then it was back on the treadmill, back on the hamster wheel.
And it was that kind of cycle. So, so I sit here and I think, gosh, should I have figured it out sooner? And I remember like Mom and I, and then you start calling Dad and Liz as well, and we would kind of be like, well, what time did you talk to Kelly?
Did you get a drunk call from Kelly?
Yeah. Well, and we were concerned because we would compare notes and we were trying to figure out, okay, and then when we all started just laying it all out on the table, like, well, he called me this, then we were like, okay, this is bad. And,
oh yeah.
And then we tried to talk to you, but here's the deal, and this is where I would ask for advice. I wish I'd known what to do myself. If you're trying to, because we would try to talk to you, but you were drinking when we were talking to you, because you were either drinking or sleeping at this point.
Oh yeah.
And so what do you say to a person who's got a loved one who they desperately want to help, but the only time they have access to that person is when they're drinking?
I mean, it kind of took, an ultimatum from Waverly.
Right. And God bless Waverly.
Yeah, for sure.
Our family loves Waverly like nobody's business, just FYI.
There we go. And so do I.
So does Cal.
But, I mean, I guess, to me, I had to figure it out for myself, but, it did help Waverly pointing it out strongly to me. And then I was, just at a point where I couldn't quit myself. And it was getting dangerous, falling down in the middle of the night. I'd wake up and because I had sleep apnea because I was a little larger person with the alcohol bloat and whatnot. I was like 220.
You dropped 30 pounds in rehab.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and speaking of that, I went to rehab with the Professor Nolan at our sponsor, Summer Sky.
And God bless them. Our family forever owes a debt of gratitude to Summer Sky for
and Chambriel. I don't know if you have that web address for Summer Sky in the folder somewhere, but you'll get it up at some point.
Yeah.
No big deal, but they are great people out there.
Really good
and,
people.
It was just it essentially saved my life. I told him
they gave me my brother back.
I wanted to have a shirt made for them, and it said I went to rehab and all I got was my life back.
Exactly. But it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really true. It's so. I mean, the transformation from you being drunk and drinking.
Oh yeah,
that was your DOC, drug of choice.
Yes, vodka.
Was alcohol with what was it, a Fireball chaser, which I was
do a little Fireball to change it up every once in a while.
That's rough, but it was one of those things where the difference between you sober and you drunk is night and day.
Oh yeah.
You are a contributing, doing something for yourself, doing something for your family, doing something for other people person now, who's a pleasure to be around. Versus the Kelly we got, at 2 a.m. kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the Kelly, and it was still fun, and he was still a good person, but it was I was not achieving, let's see, my life goals as that person. I mean, I was still essentially a good person.
Oh, you were a great
but
person.
I was just not functioning to the level that I could when I'm sober.
That's a real. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that's something that if you've got a loved one, that person is not a bad person.
Sure.
They're making bad choices.
Oh yeah.
But at this point, and like you and Nolan have both said, y'all could not have done it without rehab.
I got to the point where it wasn't a choice. It was a necessity.
Yeah.
So I actually had to do it. I had to drink in order to function and to feed the beast and to keep it going.
And so does that become a physical addiction as well as an intellectual and emotional addiction?
Well, yeah, you carve neural pathways, and no, but honestly,
see? He knows stuff.
Honestly, it was definitely where I had to do it. It started off, all fun and games about 25, and then it just progressively, it slow played me, like the professor says.
Yeah.
And I just got to where, okay, well, I know I'm going to have an anxiety attack, so I need to self-medicate in order to function. And then it just got to where I needed alcohol to function all the time. So it was just like, and then I needed alcohol to bring me down from the anxiety attack that I would have at 5 a.m. Can you imagine waking up at 5 a.m. and you're at 10 with a panic attack?
No.
And
I don't know how you did it, because I know you ended up.
Well, no, I did it because I went and hit the vodka and then took a little benzodiazepine, and then that would put me back to night land, and I'd be out for a good 12 to 14 hours a day or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I remember, because you suffered from anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
but you said it was made worse by the alcohol. I remember a couple of times you either went to the ER or sat out in the ER parking lot. I remember that back in the day.
Well, like
right?
the thing is when you get anxiety, first off, you don't realize what's going on. Like, I mean, honestly, the first time I had an anxiety attack, I was in Pittsburgh in the airport, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh,
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So I'm in there.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I'm rolling from the hotel. You know,
DJ and gigs.
Yeah, I had a gig in Pittsburgh that night, and so it was a weird time flight, like because I started. I'll tell you about that in a bit. But basically, it was like 10 in the morning or something like that. And the guy that was my cabbie was like a nom guy.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that. But it was just like he was very intense.
Yeah.
And I'm in like this really crappy cab, you know, like a hole in the bottom of the floor where you can see the axle.
Like, oh.
And I was just like, I can't breathe, man. And then you start doing the hyperventilating thing.
I mean, it was a physiology.
Oh yeah. So I started
physical reaction.
I started having an anxiety attack, which I was 25 and I thought I was having a heart attack.
Right.
And I'm just
you don't
there.
know.
Yeah, I'm there. And so I mean, like what the first thing try to take an aspirin. So I took a couple of aspirin, and then so I got to the plane. I barely made it, and I'm just like shaking and just not knowing what's going on. And I go, well, Kath, I guess maybe I should have a drink. Maybe that'll calm me down, right?
Bloody Mary and take the edge off.
That's really when the self-medicating started happening for me, because I was drinking, to calm down. And that was back when I was sitting in first class, where the alcohol was flowing for free. So you're encouraged to drink and get your money's worth, of course. But so I started drinking, and then it just progressively snuck up on me to where it wasn't just, we're having a fun time, I'm drunk, and it just eventually became my job. So it was no bueno. And I mean, signs to look for maybe out there that somebody is excessively drinking.
Yeah.
Like I said, hiding the vodka, finding bottles randomly placed around your house.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak from the alcoholic point of view, but I mean, as far as using, like other substances, you'll find paraphernalia all around the house.
So don't ignore the signs.
And the thing is like, addiction is addiction.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. And there is a way to deal with it and a way to get out of it. But, the first step is that the person themselves has to somewhat admit that they have a problem.
So until you're at a situation where you've got like a loved one, like usually a spouse or somebody who says, hey, you go to rehab or else we're at the end of the line, kind of a thing. So if your loved one is calling you drunk, while they're drunk is not the time to have a talk with them. Would a letter have made a difference? Would a
I'm not a letter guy.
Would a conversation at a time when you were would an intervention have worked? I mean, I'm just
it just depends on your situation. But I mean, the thing is just, I think maybe the more people I would hear it from, the more I would go, maybe I do have a problem, So I mean, it's not. It wouldn't have offended me. I would have just said, "Oh, yeah, I've had a few or whatever," and blah blah blah. But in the back of my mind, it would have planted that seed, and I would have gone, maybe I do have a problem. So yeah, it's all your fault, Kathy.
So I suck as a sister. Okay.
No. But I mean, the thing is you just didn't know to what level it was and how bad it had gotten.
Well, and like you said, okay, so I don't see you every day. The great thing about you being sober now and doing this show, I get to see you every week without fail, sometimes twice a week, and it's fantastic. I love it. Like I've said, I have my brother back. But I look at you were in a lot of pain, but you covered it up. I mean, dude, you were really good at covering up. And when
I'm
we got together,
yeah.
like as a big family, we'll everybody will do a fireball shot. Everybody will, everybody's having a
Oh,
beer
yeah.
or a glass of wine. So you drinking at a family get together or a family party.
Right.
Nobody thought anything about it.
You just didn't know about that I was tailgating like 3 to 5 hours earlier.
Yeah. Well, we had no idea.
And I just got right to that level, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's all
cool.
good.
Yeah, whatever.
And so that's the thing. I think another thing that this Pink Cloud y'all show has really kind of opened my eyes to is that if your gut tells you something's wrong,
Yeah.
or I don't know, you were just so good at it.
Well, the thing is Kath,
that it's
the
hard
thing
to know.
is, and I equate this all the time, that alcohol was my job.
Yeah,
It was my job. So, and I like to be good at my job.
You're an overachiever, classic overachiever.
And I've just, okay, well, if I put this here, I can still drink and I'm okay. And if it gets really bad, if I think I'm having an anxiety attack, boom, it's right. My little friend is right there. Yeah, it was very Boy Scout-esque.
Yeah, there you go. Be prepared.
And instead of prepared for life, it was prepared to drink.
Yeah, there you go. Which is not their slogan.
Yeah, right. Well, prepared for life.
Now, when I started realizing that it was a problem, and again, you had called before and had a few drinks, but then there were some times I'd be on the phone with you and I'd had a couple of glasses of wine at dinner.
Sure.
So I thought you were doing.
I had it in check.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But when you came on, when we were at the last radio station that JP and I were at, you came on the air to promote. I want to say it was like a New Year's Eve thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I could smell it on you,
mm-hmm.
and you were slurring,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so, and JP said, hey, next time your brother comes on the show, tell him to maybe, tone it down a few drinks. And I remember getting on the phone with both Mom and Dad after that show, and I said, something's up. I said, because Kelly I said, so he had to drive to the studio.
Right. Well, I was fine. See, I didn't, but in the parking lot, then before the show, little Liquid Courage, to do AM radio. To do AM radio. Yeah, to do AM radio,
with
too.
a couple of conservative shock jocks.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We're out of control.
Is that what you are? Are
no,
you conservative shock jock?
We used to say that on Fridays. We were totally joking about that. Yeah, ooh. No, but, and that's another thing, and I remember you did a podcast before you went into rehab.
Oh, yeah. I was just doing something to goof off, and it was called Spun Out with Clout. You can look it up on my Facebook page where I was spun out.
Well, and so I would ask you, you were like, hey, share this on your page, or can you share it on? And I was like, dude, my friends won't understand somebody being drunk in the middle of the day on a Saturday or a Sunday or whenever that was.
Sure.
And you were like, oh, Kath, come on, man. Everything was, oh, come on, man. And I was like, well, just don't drink when you do your show. And you're like, just what you said. You're like, I need a little Liquid Courage.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're so talented. You're a natural at this. You don't have any Liquid Courage before you come on now.
No,
since
just
you started doing
just the energy drinks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are legit. They've been checked.
Right,
They've gone through a scanner.
Exactly.
Well, but I think you didn't realize how much talent you had and how much you had going for yourself, because if your job's alcohol is always going to keep you down a notch below what you can do.
I was doing the best I could. Well, not intentionally, but I was doing the best I could to screw up a really great life that I have. And I didn't realize how good I had it until I got into rehab. And then you start hearing some real stuff, some real trauma. I mean, poor drunk DJ passing out, taking benzos. Yeah. I mean, there's some people that really have, not just but I mean, emotional baggage. Yeah. There's a lot that goes with that. I mean, all kinds of abuse and stuff like that. And it's just this one big ball of I was going to say the word, but you know what I'm thinking. It's one big ball of duty.
Yeah.
So, but
that's just, so if people are hurting this holiday season, if they're looking to, from the person who's suffering to the people who are watching their loved ones suffer, what advice can you give to people this holiday season?
I would say definitely, like I said, talk to them.
Okay.
engage them and, maybe put it to them, hey, are you actually, maybe have a problem with this,
Right.
with what you're doing? Is it, to where you can't just stop yourself?
Right.
Because I still thought I could. And then
You told me that
actually,
like a day before rehab.
and
You're like, I'm just going to slow the roll.
well,
a
no,
little
no, no.
bit.
What I was going to, my entire intention when I went into rehab was just to, so to speak, pump the brakes.
Yep.
And then I was just going to get out and socially drink, right? And then I would be all good.
Yep.
Well, the thing is with that window of clarity, with that 30 days of clarity, I realized that, wow, I have all these good ideas and I can actually get them done.
Yeah.
I can actually function and I can travel without, potentially getting a DUI. So I could
Right.
drive to Fort Worth. That was
Or hurting yourself or hurting somebody
that was
else.
unfathomable to me to drive to Fort Worth
wow.
sober. I mean, I'd have to have something just in case the panic started to hit me.
Oh, I
So
didn't even
yeah,
realize
yeah,
that. That's
man.
tough. So you're limited. Where we in the DFW area where we live.
Yeah.
I mean, there are opportunities all around. Sometimes they're an hour away. So
Yeah.
basically, anything that wasn't right around your neighborhood, you
Yeah.
cut that opportunity off.
Yeah, and then I
I
would
didn't even
just
think
yeah,
about
and I mean
that.
it gets smaller and smaller as the progressively worse it gets.
Yeah.
But hey, I do want to talk a little bit about a silver lining out of
Oh,
this.
I mean, well, and you are a complete silver lining.
Well, and I
yeah.
appreciate that, but honestly, okay, so I was diabetic.
Yes.
I was Wilford Brimley. I had diabetes, but so the thing is the first 30 days of me being in rehab.
Yep.
I was on 2 shots a day, 2 insulin shots a
Yep.
day, metformin, and then of course you start having to take Ramipril, which counteracts all the crap you're having to take,
Yeah.
along with the alcohol and all that good stuff. So, but I was able to wean myself off of insulin totally just
Yeah.
by not drinking. So I did that. And then, I was just like, well, they did blood work on me
Yeah.
there while I was there. And I was like, my A1C's dropping. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to kind of wean myself off and see
yeah.
how it goes. And then, of course, with that, I didn't have to take the Ramipril and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So, I actually went to the endocrinologist.
Yes.
And she was like, hey, do me a favor and come back never.
Yeah.
So,
And good luck to you, sir.
yeah, and check your blood sugar once a year
Yeah.
or whatever, just
Well,
periodically.
You are
and,
no longer diabetic.
Yeah. And
I mean, that's amazing.
and I no longer have anxiety attacks. I'm not a prisoner of my own self.
yeah.
So and I have
That makes me so happy and
I
so
have
proud.
yeah, and I actually have stuff to do. Like
You've got great ideas.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, well, for example, this show, This Pink Cloud. Hey, why
Yeah.
not? Hey, I have a sister that happens to be in the
business.
webcast business, and
Hey,
and
her and her partner just started a network.
right,
Okay.
yeah. I'm like, okay, hey, how
Why not?
how hard can that be, right?
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate
not
that,
limiting
and,
yourself.
and yeah, and I mean, because like you said, when I went to the AM show, full disclosure, I was feeling no
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
So I mean, but in reality, I was feeling a lot of pain.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing that becomes real clear. Something I've heard you and Nolan talk about is like, until you're not doing it to yourself, you don't realize what you were doing to
Right,
yourself.
and then
if
with that,
makes
yeah,
sense.
it's just like with that window of clarity, that 30 days, I was like, I gave alcohol, a good 25 years of my
Yeah.
life of kind of half-ass and underachieving, and then like I've been sober now 157 days.
Yes.
Nobody's counting. But yeah,
Woohoo!
so that's a little over 5 months, so you don't have to do the
amazing.
math.
Yeah,
but But, I mean, but with that initial 30 days, I was just like, okay, look, you've given alcohol 25 years of your life. Why not just rock the sober thing? I mean, it seems like things are going good.
Things are going really well, and just I know we've just had Christmas, and just want to tell everybody thank you so much.
Oh yeah, hey, well, by the way, why don't you show them your Christmas present there if you can?
This is greatness. Okay, so Elf is literally one of my all-time favorite movies. I have all the lines memorized, and this is one of my favorite lines. Santa, OMG, I know him.
Chambriel's like looking at you like,
I know Santa. I know him.
Chambriel's like, I don't know that movie.
It's a great movie.
And then of course,
hello, what's your favorite color?
And then of course, my shirt. I've got to stand up and I don't know.
Show that off with the scarf.
In there, yeah. Let's get cracking.
Yeah, with the Nutcracker. You gotta love that.
Nutcracker. Yeah.
Well, Kelly,
Good
thank
stuff.
you so much for letting me be on.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to, while we're on the air and in the Christmas spirit,
yes,
I have a little something for the lovely Chambriel.
Oh, and we love Chambriel.
So, Chambriel, I got you a lovely Lone Star T-shirt.
I love it.
Which is available at djkellyreverb.com.
DJ Kelly Reverb.
But, just for kicking ass on the board, I'm going to start. I'm going to start. There you go. Yay. But,
great.
but, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, she does the best board op ever.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's
amazeballs, dude.
She's crazy talented. We were texting about her the other day, and she's like 23, and I go, and she is a complete rock star already.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just good stuff. But Kelly, I'm glad to have you back.
Well,
I love you, and I am so happy to have the sober version of you because that's the best version of you, and I love you very much.
Well, I love you too, Kat. Oh, I'm getting a little clipped. But and then if you have any questions for the professor, myself, we know just about everybody out there.
Summer Sky and lots of other resources.
Exactly. So reach out to us if you want some advice or, need some help or know somebody that needs some help, and that is at thispinkcloud.com. And then I guess
Summer Sky and their number up there on the
Summer
screen.
Sky, you can reach out to them, and that's the admissions number. And there's old Pat and hi Keisha. I love those girls, man.
We love it.
So, but other than that, thanks for tuning in to our special Christmas edition.
Yeah.
And it was
Merry
fun.
Christmas and Happy New Year.
Exactly. And then if you want to play us out on the music, do we have it? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Chambriel's busting me.
She's so good.
I know. I was going to say the new tagline. So, what is it? Now I forgot it. Do I have it? Do you have it written down?
Did you write it down?
Yeah. Remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety because if there was, we would all take too many. There we go. Thanks for tuning in. Got some fun guests in January.